Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Clock Hour. This is your host, Marv Kennel, with my co-host, Miss Cynthia No Nonsense Holla. I got two special guests today. My man, Quan Williamson, Quedupproductions via VA, and my man, Poppa T from JCT Magazine. How y'all doing today?
Outstanding.
Good on my end, for sure. And these folks look pretty good that I'm looking at.
Great.
My man Q, we got some history. I wanted to touch bases again with you. I didn't get a chance to get you up here when I had my other submarine brothers up here. This is my number one submarine brother from 1989, 88, 89 till infinity. Q, how long did you spend in the military, man?
20 years and 20 minutes.
20 years?
Yeah.
Look, when we met back in the days, as a matter of fact, we bought our first drum machines together. 89?
Yeah, 89.
And here we are, 2022. That's a long time. They don't understand the bond that is built down there underwater. We were on submarines. Am I correct?
Absolutely, man. A whole different bond, especially when you're minority. Because, it's only a few of us. Like, I think it was, 8 or 10 of us out of 140 plus.
Right.
So, you got no choice but to get close to who you with.
I know, man. That was, for me, it was rough because I wasn't used to it, neither was anybody else, but it made a difference being connected with like-minded brothers down there. Me, you, and KB, we have different conversations during the day, during the week, and one conversation that stuck in my head was your outlook on voting.
Yep.
Can you run that by the people?
Well, my main question was, okay, we voted, and when I say we, I'm speaking as black people, right? So as far as I can remember, I've only known to vote Democrat. I have a few people in my family that maybe have voted Republican, but, they weren't like, I'm from Chicago, so they wasn't like South Side. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. So just a different type of person, type of mentality. So I've only known to vote Democrat. So my view after a long time has I've come to the conclusion of why. Why am I voting Democrat, number one? And if I don't see a candidate that's going to, do anything for me, for us, that's a Republican, then what exactly am I doing? I just would ask anybody that has voted, general, not just Democrat or Republican, just voted in general. Tell me, where has that gotten black people from where we were when we didn't vote, or when we were told who to vote for, or killed because we didn't vote for somebody who they thought we were forced to vote for? Where has it gotten us? Like, what's changed?
Thoughts?
Wow. That's a very, very good question. Because I'm a registered Republican, but I've always voted Democrat, except for when it came to the situation of Ronald Reagan, right? Wow. That's really a good question, because one of my personal beliefs, right, and opinions is the cheapest commodity in the world because everybody has one. But the thing is that when you're talking about voting and you're talking about voting for the lesser of two evils, I recommend that everybody vote regardless of what. Get out and vote, not just because people died so that you would have the right or the privilege, Because if you're not involved, then you don't have a voice. You don't have a right to come in my ear and telling me about anything regarding politics or where we stand as a people. And you're talking about people as individuals and as collectively as a group. So I'd say collectively, there has been times when we have voted, and depending upon who we voted for, that it was to our benefit, but very few and in between. I can count maybe one or two, maybe even three people collectively. And I've been here for a long time.
Yeah. Cynthia, any thoughts? Any thoughts? I think she's froze.
She's good.
Oh.
I'm gonna pass right now.
Any,
Pass
any,
right now.
She passed it.
you pass? Well,
Mhm.
I came out the gates.
Oh, I can go back in.
I
Let her
I'm
back
more than
in.
happy
go
to
go
back
for
in.
it. I came out the gates independent myself. I was just independent. But this last election, it almost put us in a position where it was the lesser of two evils. So I don't say not vote. In my opinion, I say vote. But Ice Cube had the contract for black people, and they shot him down. So it's almost like, well, what are we voting for?
Can I just jump in before
Well,
Q comes back in?
Yeah.
Q, I'm gonna let you right in. I
all right.
believe that's been brought to my attention about that contract.
Yeah.
But I believe that that's something collectively as a people that we need to view, and that we should come up with something like that better if we can't actually agree on that one.
Right. Q?
So what I'm saying is we have allowed Democrats to get comfortable with the black vote. There's something that they count on every single 4-year period, primaries, all of that. So if they're counting on something, but they're not delivering anything, then I mean, the only way that you can get something done is to hold your vote hostage. We put a person in office, voting Democrat, that we know put a whole slew of brothers and sisters away off the crime bill, the super predator stuff, all of that. That was driven by Democrats, and we voted for Democrats. And don't get me wrong, Republicans got their side of responsibility for some things that went on as well. So I'm just saying, when it comes to voting, why should I give you something for free and you're giving me nothing? And I won't even get started with the war on drugs. But when the war on drugs happened, it was pull yourself up by your bootstraps and say no to drugs. But now all of a sudden it's an epidemic because Lil Susie is on heroin or she's on fentanyl or something like that. Now it's an epidemic. How many times are you going to vote Democrat or Republican and still be allowed to get killed on the streets? What is your vote doing for that? Nothing.
Wow. I'm going to give the sister an opportunity to respond, and I'll come behind her if she'd like to speak now, because I believe that's definitely something that needs to be addressed.
Can you hear
Sam?
me?
You
Yeah,
can-
still a delay, but it's a lot clearer now. I was getting bits and pieces of everything, but I think I'm following where you're talking about pretty much what side you're on party wise, which I don't really care to get into the whole politics part of it,
Right.
but I will say that I've always known to just go Democratic, but I always felt that I didn't have to choose either. So each time I just went with what I knew, but it ended up being Democratic.
And I something else I want to add to that, if I could. Just, I mean, I don't think that anybody that is grown is naive to believe that Democrats and Republicans actually don't get along in real life. Because once the cameras and everything go off, let's not forget what a politician is. A politician is someone that's really in it to make deals, right? It's for them to get something that they want pushed ahead, and sometimes they have to compromise something else in order to do that. So, but with that compromise, there's all these other things. There's all this money and all this noise and all these backers that want things from politicians, which makes them change. We all know once you bend once, it makes it easier to bend a second time, a third time. So if we are allowing them to do that and get away with that, why would I arbitrarily give you a vote? What am I voting for? I'm voting for my own demise slowly.
That's
Yeah,
th-
bro.
that's like what I used to do. Whoever was running for, I mean, even on the local level, I'll look up their backstory and get an idea on what they stand for, um, and so forth, just to get an idea who they are before I even make a decision. Like I don't like the title liberals and conservatives. I hate titles, because I'm like you. I'm looking at it like, okay, well, what is this individual gonna do for me? Single person, one child, you know, um, business owner. Where am I gonna benefit by all this? Um, you, when you work in a certain environment, you know that everybody in that environment is Republican or so forth. I just hate the titles. But my whole thing is the best move that they made during so-called quote unquote civil rights was the bus boycott. Bus boycott shut it down. Um, they have this thing on the table now where they're talking about reversing the Roe v. Wade issue, um, abortion, abortion rights, and stuff like that. I kind of stayed away from it because I really believe that is wrong. You should have the choice to do what you want to do with your body, male, female. I know this is about women and everything, so Sent, your take on that?
I'm definitely having a choice. It's my body, so I want to be as objective as I can.
Right.
Um, let's remove the fact that I am a woman. Even if I wasn't, I would still feel the same way. Like, no one should be able to choose that for you.
They
Okay, okay. Now I just want to jump in before I even listen to Q's point on this, because I definitely want to hear his point on the roadway thing. But just closing out the last section that we actually covered as far as the voting.
right.
Realistically, as black people, what you have to realize is that this system that you're talking about supporting was not designed with you in mind to
Right.
hold none of the seats
Absolutely.
and none of the jobs that you're holding. So therefore, when you're talking about voting and you're talking about doing this or doing that, where is your party? Who represents you? You can't expect for any of them to represent you. You need to develop your own party, do for self, and then you will have a voice. Until that time right there, stop playing with yourself and complicating the situation. With that being said,
Absolutely
let's go back
agree.
to roadway.
Make up my own party, huh?
Yes, sir. Do for
Yes,
self.
absolutely.
So your take on
Yeah.
the Roe v. Wade, because you and I discussed this.
Yeah, that there's it's not a tough issue for me because I'm a realist, and I'm only going to say what I believe.
Okay.
Right? I'm not interested in how anybody else feels about what I say. I pray that some people feel the way that I do, but my concept on that right there is that you may have a right because you exist in America and the Constitution supports that according to what the Constitution states, right? But realistically, right, life, truth, reality, that there should not be an option for abortion unless under a situation that where your life is threatened.
Well, what I don't understand is nobody else is going through this. We have all these laws and ideas and concepts in place, which they shouldn't be debatable. You know, if a woman wants to jump off a bridge, let her jump off a bridge. She has that right to jump off a bridge. I understand different circumstances. My thing is time. You don't wait 5, 6 months time. If she wants to get an abortion,
Out the gate.
let her get an abortion.
Okay, that's even another level
So-
of what we're speaking about. I'm gonna let you
Right.
right in. That's another level of what we're speaking about, because once you get to that stage right there, you're just a bigger murderer as far as I'm
Right.
concerned.
Well, I understand that, but I can't ride with you on that one because
Q wanted to jump in, so I want
Q.
to hear his concept. I'm really anxious.
Well, first of all,
I can't
think
hear
that-
him.
Yeah,
The air.
something really loud.
I can't hear him. Turn him
Sounds
up.
like something's moving.
The air.
Man,
The air conditioning.
The air conditioner going.
Yeah, it's something. All right, there we go. All right, so there it is.
Can you turn him up? That's
It's
rain.
a storm.
that's
Can you turn
rain.
him up?
There's a storm here, Q, is what they're saying. So
Oh, okay.
that's what we're actually hearing. So you need to amp up your volume.
Well, you know what? Sometimes my voice does make storms happen. So.
Okay.
You can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear him loud and clear.
All right. So with the Roe v. Wade thing, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. The
Go ahead.
sister was laughing.
No. Okay. So what I was gonna say with the Roe v. Wade thing, I think that I think we have to be careful when we start to speak on rights and what we say that we should or shouldn't do with someone else's rights. I personally don't believe, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that an old man should tell a woman what to do with her body. Just by the same token, that I don't believe that we should be the catch on whether somebody lives or dies, right? So, and when I talk about that, I'm speaking about the death penalty and kind of how you can kind of contrast both. Honestly, if you say that I believe in pro-life, I don't believe that we should ever, in any way, form, or fashion, take a life of a child or take a life of a baby. Then you have to feel the same way about the death penalty. Then,
Right.
you know. So I would definitely ask that question: how do you feel about the death penalty? And at what point do you say that yes, it's okay to take that life?
You know, I would like to hear the sister respond at this point, because my vision and concept on what has been said so far is that when we're talking about life, and I love that right there, that point about the death penalty,
Yeah.
I'm in total disagreement with that as well. But my whole thing is this: if you have the right to actually, because you feel that you have the opportunity to make the choice to go out and kill a child, then if someone offends me in the street or threatens my life, you shouldn't bother me if I take my weapon and blow their brains out. It's no
Understood.
Well,
difference.
Understood.
But I think just real quick
Sin-
before the sister hops in, just one quick thing though. So if if a woman is raped, right? If a woman is raped and has a child or is pregnant with child, and I don't want to get into how gruesome or what it takes for a woman to go through to try to recover from that. I've seen that, but to bring that child into the world, how would you feel about a child being brought into the world under those circumstances, and then that mother looking at that child and only seeing that act? She's definitely going to act differently towards that child. Is that fair to the child?
I agree with adoption when it comes to that.
There's so many circumstances on this. With each case, even death penalty, I have my opinion on that too.
Right.
I don't believe in it. And as far as the situation comparing to, okay, I'm pro-life. I don't believe in death penalty, but if there's a situation where what you just mentioned, where you've been abused, you should have the option. You should have the choice to do what it is that you feel you need to do. When the baby's fully developed, I do feel because I don't believe in the death penalty. I feel like if it's before viability, for me, if I wanted to make that choice again, I'm trying not to make it, personal. But being a woman, we were taught like that was it. You have an option, and this is it. And if you do it after that, it's illegal and you can't do it. But I'm okay. I'm okay with the fact that that's in place because of what we were taught about the forming. You know, when it's actually viable and when it's not, when it's out of the actual uterus. Uh, so it just gets so grayish and touchy, and I
Yeah.
Can
get
I ask this
into
question?
the
Okay.
whole policy
And
part of
I'd
it.
like to, I'm not to cut you off. I'd like to pass it out there for anybody. When was this? When did it become the norm? Because it wasn't always the norm. Like I said, I've been here a long time. It wasn't always the norm. This wasn't always an accepted fact, and it wasn't preached or taught. If you got an abortion, you went back door somewhere and got it done. So what year was it that this actually came into effect, where parents started teaching their children, especially their daughters, that it's okay
Well,
to make that
Well,
decision?
that didn't come from us. That didn't
No.
come from us.
None of
That
us.
came from.
No. Well,
Wait, I mean, hold on, wait. If we gonna go all the way with it, let's go all the
Yes,
way with
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
It came from when we got pregnant, we raised our children.
right.
That's why our grandmothers and great grandmothers and grandfathers, that's the reason why they had 15, 16
Yeah.
kids back then. But Lil Susie, who they feel has a future, they said, okay, I don't want you to waste your life. I want you to go to college and make something of yourself. And you can't handle a baby right now. That's
Right.
where that came from. So those backdoor deals wasn't us.
Indeed.
I
Indeed.
don't I
Indeed.
don't I don't even understand why it's on the table now, vice 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You know, to me it's
Yeah,
not the time
yeah.
for it. You
Should
know,
it be a conversation?
with the climate
Yeah.
that we're in now, I think it's really a distraction.
Well, not necessarily a distraction with the recreation, right, or what they call the restructuring, right, of the system. They have to have certain guidelines in place. And this new party who feels strong about being accepted as the number one force in the world, or what you people call the New World Order, those are one of the policies that they want in place.
For control.
Yes, sir,
To
period.
control.
So pretty soon we're not going to be able to say nothing, not going to be able to do nothing, not going to be able to act a certain way.
Well, especially us, because we can speak about the general public or we can speak about us,
Right.
which I don't want it to be misunderstood, us as a people. And again, I have to say on all the topics and issues today, until we establish our own party, there is no us because there is no we. You understand? There is no we as long as you continue to act as the enslaved to your slave masters. You're going to have a serious issue and you're going to always be confused. So until you create your own party, not Republican, not Democrat, liberal or conservative, create your own party and direct your votes in accordance to who is doing the best for you, if not one of your own.
Q?
And personally, I think the way to make that happen is to hold your vote hostage.
I agree.
It's going to
Hold
take
it
for some
hostage.
people to lose power. They have to lose power first to understand what they had that they were tapped into that they could have had make work for them. But hey, you just got to keep your word, man. Do what you said you're going to do.
And let me tell you another strong secret, folks out there. That's what's happening even in the Democratic Party, which I heard you guys say that that's where you generally would vote normally as a black individual. What has happened is Republicans, since they know that you're fathered and grandfathered in to vote for the Democrat, that they're coming through the Democratic Party. That's why you have the separation, and you can't get the job done now that they own the House. Because it's Republicans representing themselves as Democrats and separating the party.
It makes sense.
Makes
It's
sense?
the facts.
I agree. And it's almost like you're wasting your time.
Yeah, and you can't waste your time because
No.
there's no time to waste.
No time to waste.
Otherwise, you're going to be back in concentration camps, right? So the thing is, what you need to do, I'm telling you today, is form your own party. Or go talk to that gentleman, Ice Cube, you said, and talk about that contract, or create a better one yourselves.
I just think that it has to be a different party. Whether that's independent, I don't know, or just a totally separate party, I don't know.
Right. Last word, Sent? Any last words, Sent? Where you go? She still there?
I hope so.
Any last words?
Is she frozen?
She looks frozen.
She is frozen.
See that froze?
Wow.
Last words for the people?
Well, the only thing I can say, it's been a pleasure. I thank you, Brother Marv, and I thank Sky Cable for allowing me to sit on this panel today. Let's make it do what it do.
Right. Poppa T from JCT TV. Y'all tune into his show. And I thank Sky TV also. Thank the man up above. Thank you, Q, for tuning in, man. I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it, my brother.
Great seeing you, Q and Cynthia.
All right.
Sent, if you can hear us, I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Remember, like, subscribe, and share the Klock Hour.
For the people?
For the people, by the people, about the people. The Klock Hour. Peace.